Once a long time ago, there was a farmer who had the worst luck in the world. Everything he did failed. If he planted his crops too early, there was a frost. If he planted them too late, there was a drought. One year, the barn burned down. The next year, the house burned down. One year, the wife was sick. The next year, the children were sick. One year, the fruit trees got a blight. The next year, the vegetable garden failed completely. One year, the cows stopped giving milk. The next year, the hens stopped laying eggs. Everything he tried failed. And if, by some miracle, he actually succeeded with a crop, the king would raise the taxes, and he'd lose it all anyway. He had the worst luck in the world. One day he was at the edge of his field near the forest, and there was a big rock there, and he sat down on that rock, he put his head in his hands, and he said, "When's my luck gonna change?" And just then, a creature jumps out of the forest, long, spindly arms, long legs, long hair, and the hair was all matted and had things crawling in and out of it. He had a long beard with corresponding green streaks that led straight to the nostrils. His teeth were black and rotten, and the smell, was terrible. And the creature was dancing around and laughing and singing. And finally the farmer said, "Wait a minute, what are you?" And the creature smiled and said, "Me? I am your bad luck. I just stopped by to make sure you were as miserable as possible." And the farmer completely lost his temper. He jumped up and wham, he hit that creature, knocked him out, took off his belt, tied him up, ran back to the house. He brought back a shovel and he dug a deep pit. And as he dug, he said, "I'm going to teach you a lesson for giving me bad luck all these years. I'm going to teach you a lesson." And he dug a deep, 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 deep hole. He threw his luck to the bottom, filled up the dirt, piled it up with rocks, jumped up and down and said, "That's what you get for making my life so horrid." And he went back to the house. Felt much better. He was only home for 5 minutes when there was a knock at the door. It was one of his neighbors who said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This letter came to our house by mistake. It's for you." And the farmer opened it, found out that his great uncle had died, left him a fortune. The next day, he had another letter. A great aunt had died and left him a fortune. And from then on, everything was perfect. The cows start giving the sweetest milk. The hens start laying 2 eggs a day. The wheat was the thickest, tallest wheat in the county. His children were happy and healthy. They even got good grades in school. Everything went right. And everyone was very pleased because he had been so poor for so long. They felt good about his change of luck. Everyone but his neighbor. You see, his neighbor used to be prosperous, and he used to be the wealthiest man in the area, but now the farmer was, and this man was jealous. So one day he went over to the farmer's house and knocked on the door. He said, "My friend, I wanted to congratulate you. Turning this farm around. What an accomplishment. Tell me, how did you do it?" The farmer didn't want to tell him his secret, so he said, "It was hard work." The neighbor said, "Hard work? You could work for 100 years on this farm and not turn it around. Tell me your secret, come on. Perseverance. Tell me the truth." And finally, the farmer did. He said, "I found my luck." "Your what?" "My bad luck. It's a creature, and I met him at the edge of the woods. I tied him up, I dug a hole, I threw him in the bottom, and I buried him. You see that pile of rocks over there? He's still there. That's why my luck changed." And the neighbor said, "Really? How fascinating." And that night, when everyone was asleep, the neighbor took a shovel and went out to the edge of the fields. He moved the rocks away, and he dug and he dug and he dug till he came to that creature. He pulled it out of that pit, took his knife and cut the ropes and the belt, and said, "My friend, you're free. Go back to your old master. Make his life horrible." But the creature looked at him and said, "No, I'm not going to go back to him. Look what he did. He hit me in the head. He tied me up. He buried me alive in that pit. I'm never going to go back to him. He's a terrible man. He's an awful man. But you You're wonderful. You saved me. I'm never, ever going to leave you. And you know, he never did. And that's the story of one man's luck.